We're living in a time where people break over things that previous generations pushed through without a second thought, right? Discomfort is now trauma, accountability is an attack, and anyone who disagrees becomes the villain in someone's story. And respect and discipline barely exist. Entitlement has become so normalized that basic emotional resilience is no longer common. And that's why everything triggers everybody. That's why people send hateful messages over opinions and advice or truth that challenges them. And I see it every single day. The anger, the projection, the outrage, and all it does is confirm how emotionally unprepared so many people are for the real world. And this is not strength, it's fragility. Real healing isn't coddling, it's uncomfortable, it's confrontational. It requires honesty and grit and the willingness to look inward, qualities that used to be the foundation of growing up. And until that comes back, we're going to keep seeing adults who crumble under the same weight their parents carried without a choice.
Well, it's quite unfortunate that this has become the case in our current day and age. And I'm very well aware of why it has become the case, because it is very easy to imagine why people would not want to wrestle through difficult situations like this in order to achieve a favorable result as they would like, because to be able to stand your ground and get the best out of every situation, to get the best out of what you actually are in pursuit of, it requires to some extent a great degree of contention and negotiation and pain and difficulty. So it is very easy to imagine why people would not want to agree to this train of thought. But fortunately for me, I would say that I actually completely agree with what she just said, because I've always had this deep sense of life to be something that requires a lot of sacrifice, of effort and comfort as well, because the whole idea that going through difficult situations and if you are lucky enough, coming out on top or coming out with a favorable result is somewhat considered to be trauma. I don't know exactly where people have gotten the idea that life is supposed to be easy and chill and cooperative, and I don't know exactly where. I think I had a conversation with a friend of mine today morning about, I think he was mentioning something of the sort, and then he made a statement that suggested that life was supposed to be life had a standard. So I just dropped a question for him to think about, and I was to him like, who made the standard? Who? Because every single person's life is different. People get the same result through different degree of difficulties. Some people's lives, some people have opportunities that others do not have. Some people were born with a silver spoon. Some were not. Some were born in parts of the world where the degree of resource availability is a lot higher, and birth and death rate is a bit balanced because of the political landscape, the social landscape, the amenities there which they have at their disposal. So you could very easily imagine how people's life will vary vastly in terms of the amount of result attained, assuming there is a goal in mind that will be considered the goal to be attained. But then I think about it in terms of the amount of success you want to a very great degree. I don't know exactly how to prove this, but I think based on observation, if you will just sit down and look around you and see the people who are successful around you, the people who you subconsciously tend to imitate, the people you subconsciously admire and want to be like. If you look at the trajectory of their life and how they have come to such a height as they have come, the successful among us sacrificed. So you could infer from this particular conclusion that the amount of result you are in pursuit of is corresponding, not exactly, but it is suggestive enough that you would need to put equivalent amount of effort and pain and relinquishing some comfort in be able to attain the best you are looking for. Because if the majority opinion is what is actually the case, then it will suggest that, because I think about it like we do not have two left hands. You have a right and a left hand. You have a right and a left leg. There's up and down, hot, cold. Like the way the reality is set up in such a way that there's a counterbalance. There's a balance that keeps everything smooth and sustainable. That doesn't just apply to everything physical and tangible or everything that is experimental. I think that it also applies to the social landscape. It also applies to motivation. It also applies to this outcome of our pursuit as well. I believe strongly in the fact that the amount of sacrifice you put into attaining something to a very great degree might determine whether or not you achieve it. It doesn't happen all the time. This is not a perfect equation. But if you observe the people around us, the people who are the most successful, depending on what your definition of success is, because people's definition of success as well varies. So depending on whatever it is that your definition of success is, even at the barest minimum, at the very least, it has to be something you are looking up to. People do not point out something they admire and then they look down on it. They always explain it and express their wish to be like someone that is always above them, someone that has attained something that they are wishing to attain. So it is very well the case that it is something that is better than you. And so if it's something that is better than you, it means probably the person did a lot more to reach to that particular point. But then this particular discussion is multidimensional. It is not there is no direct proportionality between work and result. So it is very difficult, and you could imagine why people very easily get upset about discussions like this. But then one thing is for certain, one thing that no one can deny is the fact that the successful among us sacrificed, and they sacrifice to a very great degree, a lot more than the average person is willing to. So, but then there are so many variables that come into play that might have put such individuals in a place where sacrificing didn't kill them. Sacrificing didn't make them suffer more than they needed to. Sacrificing for them might have meant that they had the useful people around them. They had people who sacrificing meant something to, because it is, you could very easily imagine a situation where you do not sacrifice in the presence of somebody where which sacrificing is something that is needed for you to do, and so it becomes a wasted effort as a result.